Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to do a little different video here tonight. I was going to show some pictures of some old builds that I've done in the past that have not made it on my channel. And then I've got a bunch of construction photos of completed builds when I first started my channel, because I'm getting ready to get a new phone and I downloaded all these pictures onto the computer, so I figured why not show them to you this way. The first one you see here is a 65 GMC rescue truck that was made by a company called Approved, and I thought that was really neat. And I remember years ago that Revell had put out the 65 Chevrolet pickup truck, so that gave me a good starting point, and I was able to find that photograph in a magazine, and I actually scratch built a model of it. Let me see, I got a better picture here. And that was one of my first entirely scratch built projects that I did. Something similar to that bus I just finished, with this whole top being a combination of sheet styrene and Bondo, the whole side here being sheet styrene. I had to make the fender wells. I glued some styrene to the side of it and just slowly shaped it out with Bondo. And let's see, I got one more picture of it here. See if I can back this off a little bit. And this is a model that I wish I still had. I eventually sold this to a gentleman that wanted to purchase it. He made me the right price, so I couldn't refuse it. So that's one that you've never seen before. And then we have let's see, here's an interesting one. My first mug shot. I think I was 2 years old, back when my dad worked for the Butler County Sheriff. Here's one that made it in Scale Auto magazine that I built from the Revell Germany Peterbilt fire truck that I scratch built the rear end for it, made it into a heavy rescue truck. This is another one I took the, I think, 60 Chevy pickup truck and took the body of the LaFrance fire truck kit and cut it in half long ways, narrowed it so it would fit behind the kit cab, and just kind of scratch built myself a fire truck. Here's another one, an ambulance that I built, that I used the 78 Dodge pickup truck for the front. It's got 132 scale wheels from a Mack fire truck on it. And then the back is actually from one of my kids' old toys that I took apart, disassembled, and added some styrene to it. And then, of course, I made all the lights for it. This one also made it into a magazine. And then this one here, I started with the Revell 41 Chevy pickup truck, and then scratch built the entire bed of it, the running boards, the wheels and tires came off of a Tallery Opel Blitz fire truck, I do believe, and then accessories from the LaFrance kit on it. I won first place with this truck at the show it was in, and I gave it away to somebody who was actually he's still a good friend of mine, but you can't read the lettering on it, but it says Fremont Fire Department. His father worked for the Fremont Fire Department, so I gave it to him. What else we got on here? Here's I think this rusted up beater might have been on my channel. I'm not real sure. That's the Cameo pickup truck, I do believe. That was my first ever attempt at doing a weathered and beaten type of finish. Here's another one that I Ford C cab that I scratch built the back end to. That made it into the magazine. I don't think there's too much down here. You guys have seen most of that. These are definitely some of my older builds. Here's an old Johan that I built years ago. Here's another one. These were actually ones that I found online from back when I used to be in some model car forums years ago. So I took photographs of them so I could keep for posterity. Again, the 78 Dodge pickup truck that I scratch built a rescue pumper type body to. Here was another one, more modern Chevrolet pickup truck I scratch built the body to. What else we got on here? Another old Johan that I built into a high top. And then this old Johan that I built into a high top that we will see here in a little bit, that it started falling apart after years. So I decided to redo it, and I've got some photographs up here of that process. Then a bunch of lights that I was making. This was my first inclination into making a set of trio lights for the old Adam 12 car, old LAPD cars. Had red lenses in the front, amber in the back. Photos of my grandchildren. But here's one that I started when I started working on the cab for my slime green LaFrance. This is in the construction phase of making the scratch built bumper and the risers for the overhead emergency lights. Here it is in primer. And here it is in paint. I believe I built this one pretty much box stock as far as the back goes, besides adding, my own personal touches on the front. And then here it is as the completed model, which this has been on my channel. What else we got here? Here is some work I was doing to a 70 Ford, filling in the wheel wells like I did on the Johan Fury I just finished. That was for this car right here. This car has been on my page. Let's just go. My Kentucky State Police car, in progress photos of it. The interior. Let's see what else we got here. Let me try to just go up slowly. Like I said, most of this has been on the page. Here's some more photographs of the ambulance that I kit bashed with a toy. I made all the lights here on the red lights on the side are actually hubcaps, dog dish hubcaps from the 70 Ford Galaxy police car. I had a ton of those, but I thought this came out rather well. I did eventually sell this model as well, which I regrettably regret to this day. This was a really good build. You can notice my workspace really hasn't changed all that much over the years. See what else we can find here that's kind of interesting. These are some pictures from a trip I took out west to my brother's house. Without trying to make you guys vomit, here is the interior for my Missouri State Highway Patrol car, which I thought came out pretty good. Here it is, this one here with the Kentucky State Police car. More Dodge Monicos. These cars have all been on the page. More lights, more pictures of dogs. But I get a lot of my inspiration for builds just from scamming the internet and looking at photographs. There's the current workbench I have. More 70 Fords, more of those. Here's an ambulance I was working on from the Chevelle wagon that came out a couple years ago. I still have this model. It's not in the greatest shape anymore. See what else we can find here. Here is when I started. I had the green one done, and then I was starting on my red one here. I wanted the bumper to be the same as this. Here's another old build that I took at a model contest I was in. Again, the 65 Revell pickup truck cab. I enlarged the fenders on it and then mated the back of it with the LaFrance kit. And then this Ford 9000 in the back is also one of mine. That's the actual only picture that I have of that truck. Here was some more construction photos. And this was the cab of the one I just showed you that I was constructing. This one never panned out for me. And when I went to do the back of it, the paint messed up on me, so I just never followed through with it. It got fairly far, but I think what turned me off was the green and the black highlights on it. Probably should have went silver with those, but it just kind of didn't set right with me, and it's sitting in the closet right now in pieces. Let's see what else we got. Here's the AMT rescue van that his and hers HHQ did, made it into his creeper van. I made mine into an ambulance. Here's where I sawed the top of it off. Here's with it removed. And then I had this top, and then I put the emergency light tubes on the sides. Then we mounted it to the van. It was a pretty good fit. I had some gap issues up here. Here's the back of it. And then me messing around, just taking pictures of it, trying to figure out what kind of equipment I wanted to put on it and things like that. And then after paint and pinstripe, started adding some more lights to it more permanently. And then we go back into me making more lights for it. And then here's when I started to put some decal work on it. And then finally got it up on its own wheels. And then here's a picture of the finished model. I think this has been on the channel. there was the implement I used to cut the roof of it off with. But here I'm doing the same thing with the Dodge van. I've done the same thing with the Dodge. Made a high top for it. This one's actually been on the channel as well. There's the Dodge taking shape. These photos are all very, very random. I have no explanation for them whatsoever. Here is the interior of that Dodge van. I guess I could get it on camera. And then old Johan ambulance I built. Here's some more of that Dodge in process. And then here's the finished results of it. I believe that's been on my channel too. But that white Johan ambulance I talked about earlier, here it is after I stripped it and removed the high top that I had originally built for it. And I was in the process of adding new trim to it on the side, up around the windshield, down the side of the body. And I cut out new sides for the raised roof. That's where they were going to fit. And then I started making tubes for the emergency lights. There's that one. This project kind of hit a snag, hit a stall. It's still sitting over here. It is in primer. Here was some of the equipment I was going to put on it. Here it made it all the way to primer with white paint. And I think what stalled me out on it was my body work actually sucked on it, so I lost interest in it. But it had a fully wired engine, nice big old Cadillac V8. But I'll get to it. Then this was the start of the resin cab slime green GMC that I've showed on my channel. I just started with a stretched frame from a LaFrance kit. I stretched it out back here. I stretched it out in the front for the extended front bumper. Here's the bumper that I made for it. This is a resin piece, and then I added the styrene tread plate to it. Here it is with the LaFrance body behind it, the bumper sitting in front of it, just rather mocked up. Here it is on the frame, trying to make sure my ride height is correct. And here was the Pontiac ambulance, the 53 Ford, I think it is, and then the one I'm working on. Here we have the frame. I believe I used the Diamond Rio frame on this. Here we are making the running boards for it with the boxes to go under the cab. Here I've got the boxes under the cab. And then we get wheels and tires on it. And then I made the whole body as one solid piece. Here's an overhead view of it. I think I was checking the alignment to make sure everything was straight and square, and I had an even gap from the cab to the bed. This one had a LaFrance Detroit diesel put in it. I should have probably cut the hood open up on this one as well, but I didn't even think about it. Here we are with it under a coat of paint. The pump painted, the engine's not painted yet. Here was the work I did on the grill. Here we got the frame and the painted cab on there. This was the dashboard that I'd done for it. It was all, came with the entire resin kit that I bought. Oh, let's see. Just more pictures of it under the construction process. Here I was making the wood bed for it out of some coffee stirring sticks that I had. And then here we finally have the body in paint. That was the first resin cab that I had actually worked on in, oh Lord, several years. So I had to resharpen my skills on that. Here it is with its sister truck, the Slime Green LaFrance that I built. More construction photos. I'm a homemade Reese cup kind of guy. I like peanut butter and Hershey's. Just dip it in and shove it in my pie hole. This is Milo, my Great Dane I had. He passed away on me last year though, so I don't have him no more. My 200-pound dog. Here I started work on that 50s Ford truck that I have. I've got a picture of the finished model on my page, but nothing of the construction. I think it's coming up. Here I was goofing around. The cab for the Ford actually fit in place where the GMC was supposed to go. Here's a finished photograph of the GMC. More finished pictures. Here we are with the cab painted, the frame, and then I was starting my details to make the pumper body on this. And when I first started this, I knew I wanted to make a dedicated parade truck out of it. So everything I do, I always start out with a drawing, and then I just transfer that to my sheet styrene. Here it is, very crude, the bumper, the basic bed, and then start making the step boards for it. I made the rear fenders for it. That's all going to go around here. I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to sanding. Here I've started sanding, adding some putty to it. I made the running boards for under the cab. That's kind of why in this picture it looks like it's four-wheel drive, because it doesn't have the running boards on it. Here it is again with the running boards on it. I have no idea why I painted the cab red while I was working on that green one, but here's some more body works in process. Here I am making some grab handles for the top of the bed. Here's that getting glued into place. Here it is after I've got most of the body work done, adding details for the water outlets on it and stuff. Here I'm making the bench seats for the back of it for people to ride in. There's one of them finished right there. We've done a wood bed in this as well out of coffee stirrers. This was my inspiration for this build. I seen this, and obviously it's got people in a Christmas parade on it, sitting in the back. So I thought that was cool. And I was like, you know, I can build something close to that with what I had. So here we are with more additions to it. Just a totally made up, fictitious truck. If I would have thought about it more, I would have put the word Tonka on the door, because it resembles the old Tonka truck, fire truck that was out back in the 50s and 60s. Here we are again making fire extinguishers for it. And then the next one coming up is my 5,000 gallon international tanker that I built. This was my inspiration for the build. The same cab with a large pumper tanker on the back. The only thing I didn't do was put the front mounted pump on it. You see right there, it's got a front mounted pump. More photographs. And then here I'm working on the frame. And what I did was I had to extend a frame from the Diamond Rio kit, so I completely built the back of it, and I built the front to get my total length that I wanted. And here you can see the amount that I added between the front and the rear of the frame. I did it this way because I don't know if you can make it out, but kind of up here where the mouse is pointing, I laid a piece of styrene on the bottom of the lip of the kit frame from back to front, so it would maintain its level. And then once I had that, I was good to go with making the back of it. And then here that process starts. Again, just made out of some sheet styrene, some basic shapes. Nothing too prototypical, but the original photo of the real truck, just like I said, it just gave me the inspiration to do it. Here I'm making some wheel well molds on it, some fender flares, making sure I don't have the body stuck out too far. Here we've got a little bit more done to it. We've got the box underneath the bed, the cab. This was a really nice truck. I liked it a lot. Here's the parade truck, almost finished, sitting next to this. Here's the entire frame, sitting next to the cab and the body. Back when I used to have a clean table. Here's what I was talking about. Here's the bottom of the kit frame. I put this really thick piece of styrene in there, and one side is 1, the other side was 2, and that made the frame level after I cut it. And I used I-beam for the center part of it. Here it is a little bit farther on down the road. I got some doors on it. I've got the ladders from a LaFrance kit on there. We made some hose reels for it. I have no clue what that is. And then here's the finished 56 F800, and I'm claiming it's a Darley. So Darley used to be a manufacturer of fire pumps, and they made fire trucks. So that was my parade truck. That's been featured on the channel as a completed build, though. Here we are back to the 5,000 gallon tank international. Cab's been painted. The body, I think it's ready to be painted here anytime soon. Here's the view of the frame turned upside down. I put these braces in here in order for every time I put the frame on, the frame would locate on the frame at the same spot every time. kind of like I done my bus. Here's another photograph of the finished painted bumper on it. And then we've got some paint laid on it. I made the light for it. This is an old Mars Aurora Borealis light that was famous with the Chicago Fire Department. And this cover for it, the dome, came from an allergy pill tablet. You had to break the little package open and get the pill out. I saved a bunch of those because I thought they were about the right shape. The base is made out of styrene. And let's see, here's this 50 Chevy pickup that I scratch built the back into. I don't know if I've got construction photos on here or not of that. It's my open cab pumper. Here's my more modern American LaFrance in the process of being built. The only black fire truck that I have. I think most of these are all just photographs of finished builds. Get this back over here. So I just wanted to show these just in case I ever lose them. At least now they're on the channel. Here I was starting another AMT Galaxy. There's the radio stack I painted up for it. I made the frame for it just out of some styrene. This was for my fire chief car. Yeah. There it is on the inside. This was one of the first ones that I actually made the window cranks for. That I think I put in just about every model that I do now. Here we were making, I never like to put the metal axle in. I always beef it up with a piece of 100,000 rod, and I glue it all the way through and then glue the wheels to that. And it becomes a nice solid piece. There's a picture of the finished model, but this car's been on the channel. And I believe, what are we doing here? Making something here. Another frame. Let's go back up a little bit. I wanted to take one of my LaFrance kits and build a car hauler, except the one I was going to build was going to be longer and have my 56 Ford Darley on the back of it. I thought that would be cool, but that's still something that I might do. Okay, here's my Ford C-Cab heavy rescue truck that's been on the page. I backdated this one to a 59 model. Here the kit frame from a LaFrance kit, the kit cab, and then I'm scratch building the back of it. Here is the back of it. A lot of sanding and things have to take place yet on it. Here it is in primer. Put the doors on it. Adding some final trim to it. I believe that was like an afterthought. And then setting on its wheels. Got a nice gap here. It came out pretty good. I made all the lights for it. And then when I say I backdated it, you can see the cab has the openings for the headlight. Well, I backdated it by making some dual headlights for it. And I believe these were last used in 59 or 60, if I'm not mistaken. And I just kind of covered up the one hole with the double headlight. Then this one went along with my fictitious Elk Township Fire Department that I was building. And then this is the one that took me 9 hours to decal all the doors on it. Cut every one of those things out piece by piece, one at a time. Soaked them, glued them on. I still have that model. This was the inside of it. I was making the exhaust for it. I believe this one appears on the channel as a completed kit as well. Here is the start of a mini pumper that I used the 78 Dodge pickup truck kit for. Here I cut the frame, and I have wheels and tires from a 132 scale, or 135 scale, I'm sorry, Army truck that I bought just solely for the wheels and tires. Here I am starting the mini pumper body on the back. We added the pump panel from a LaFrance kit. Here's the whole thing just about done. Here it is in paint. I made the extended front bumper. I took the winch out of the Army truck that I got the wheels and tires from. Those wheels and tires look perfect for 1 ton type of wheels. So never discount, even though this truck is 125 scale and the wheels and tires though are 135 scale. Here was the back of it. But this truck also made it on the page as a completed build. There it is. All right, this video is getting a little long. I didn't realize how long it was getting, but here's a little short stubby one I did a long time ago using the Dodge L700 cab with a highly cut down LaFrance kit on the back of it. The doors worked on it. The cab actually tilted. That was a neat little build. I sold that as well. And then here we are actually making another ambulance box, like the toy that I had on the other Dodge, only I used the Mobius Ford pickup truck on this one. And this thing's been on the channel as well as a completed build. And there it is, done. It has 132 scale wheels and tires on it from a Mack fire truck. All right, well, we'll just stop that for here for now, and give you guys a glimpse of some of my old stuff. And well, we're still trying to debate and decide what we're going to do next. Here's some in-process photos of the red American LaFrance that's been on my page as a completed build. I think you guys recognize it. Yeah, I built all these before I started doing the YouTube page. All right, so we'll just leave it right there, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.